IAM, or Identity and Access Management, uses a specific logic to evaluate permissions. When a request is made, it checks both the user's permissions and any applicable SCPs. If the SCPs deny access, even if the developer has permission in their IAM policy, the request will still fail. It's like trying to enter a building with a key that fits the lock, but the door is locked by a security policy that overrides your key. In summary, even if the developer has the right permissions, restrictive SCPs can prevent access. Understanding this evaluation logic helps clarify why access might be denied. In OS, policy evaluation occurs at three distinct layers: identity-based policies, resource-based policies, and service control policies, or SCPs. Identity-based policies are attached to users or roles. This means that when a user tries to access a resource, OS checks the permissions associated with that user or role first. On the other hand, resource-based policies are directly attached to specific resources like S3 buckets, SQs, or Lambda functions. These policies define who can access the resource and what actions they can perform. Lastly, we have service control policies, which are organization-wide rules that act like a master control, setting the boundaries for what accounts in your organization can do. To put it simply, think of identity-based policies as personal permissions, resource-based policies as rules for specific items, and SCPs as overarching guidelines for the entire organization. In summary, understanding these three layers is crucial for navigating OS's policy evaluation effectively. The logic is quite straightforward. When OS evaluates a request, it first checks if there is an explicit deny in place. If it finds a deny, the action is blocked immediately. On the other hand, if there is no deny and the request is allowed, then the action proceeds. It's important to remember that an explicit deny always takes precedence over an allow. This means that if a service control policy, or SCP, has a deny, it will override any allow that might be present in an IAM policy. So, even if the IAM policy allows access, if the SCP denies it, the action will still fail. To visualize this, think about a developer trying to access an S3 bucket using their IAM role. If there's a deny in the SCP, their request will not go through, regardless of what the IAM policy states. In summary, always remember that deny rules are stronger than allow rules in OS permissions. When a request is made in OS, it first checks for any SCPs that might deny access. If there is a deny in place at the parent organizational unit level, the request will fail immediately, regardless of what the IAM or bucket policies say. This means that even if both the IAM policy and the bucket policy allow access, the deny from the SCP takes precedence. There is no way to override that deny. For example, think of it like a traffic light. If the light is red, no matter how many green lights you have on the road, you still can't go through. The same logic applies to actions and services like Lambda, RDS, or Act2. In summary, always remember that SCPs can deny access and will take priority over other policies. First, you need to create an IAM role that has read permissions for Amazon S3. After that, you will create an S3 bucket and set a resource policy that allows access to this bucket. Next, you will create an organizational unit, or O, within your organization and add a service control policy that denies the S3 get object action. This means that any attempt to access objects in the S3 bucket using the IAM role will fail due to the SCP in place. For example, think of the IAM role as a key that can open a door, but if there's a lock on that door that denies entry, the key won't work. If you later remove the SCP, then the access will succeed, and the role can read the objects in the bucket. In summary, the combination of IAM roles, resource policies, and SCPs can effectively control access to your resources in Oz. One frequent error is assuming that just because an IAM policy allows certain actions, those actions will automatically be executed. It's important to remember that permissions can be complex, and simply having an allow policy doesn't guarantee that everything will work as expected. Another mistake is focusing only on resource policies while ignoring service control policies, or SCPs. If a question in the exam mentions SCP, you need to pay close attention to that detail. Additionally, many candidates confuse the concept of implicit deny. In Oz, the default behavior is to deny all actions unless they are explicitly allowed. This is a critical point to remember, as it can easily trap you in exam scenarios. In summary, always read exam questions carefully, consider all types of policies, and remember that Oz defaults to deny unless stated otherwise. Additionally, think of the three layers we have: identity, resource, and service control policies, or SCPs. SCPs hold the highest priority in this hierarchy. Visualizing these layers can help you understand how permissions are applied in Oz. For example, imagine you're at a concert. If you have a ticket, allow, but the bouncer says you can't enter, explicit deny, you won't get in, no matter what. So, to recap, always remember the order of explicit deny and allow, and keep the three layers in mind. This concept is often tricky in exams like SAPRO and DevOps Pro, so it's worth mastering. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what Oz topic you'd like to explore next.